Hello, hello, and welcome. Happy Monday. Hope you're all doing well. Let me know when you're here. But in the meantime, we had some great questions over the weekend. I love that a lot of you are thinking about scrapbooking again. You might have let it kind of go. I'm so excited that you're going to give it a try with me. So I've been posting some ideas and things, and one of the questions I got, there's actually been two, but one is, how do you choose your paper? That it's always a struggle, and you just kind of sit and get paralyzed. Hey, Shannon, when you want to choose the paper, and you're all set, you're good to go, you got your photos, you've chosen a simple. You know what a simple is, right? Yeah, a simple is an SVG that you cut with your Cricut that helps you. It's a roadmap. It's mats for your photos. It's a title. It's all in one. It's like a one shop. So it's those all-in-one printers that scan and print. Yeah, that's what Simples do too. So I thought tonight we'll make it. You have a simple tonight too. Remember to get the simple that I'm sharing, the SVG. You need to be sure that you go to the classroom. So this is where it gets a little confusing. I have two places. You can purchase SVGs at that website right there that you see. But you'll also see a link to Classroom. If you click on the Classroom and go on in and you want to look for the one that it's the one in the middle. It says 2020 live classes. You want to click on that and enroll. It's free. And then every single Facebook Live that I do that gives out something, you'll find it in there. Okay? So that's the first thing first. I want to make sure that you don't miss out on the free simple that I'm sharing. Once you're at my website, thecaramiller.com, look through the SVG store and you'll see that there's lots of options and there's more being added all the time. Okay? All right. It's a little bit of bookkeeping. So tonight we have a free SVG and I'm going to start there and then we'll move into the paper. So let me bring you into Design Space. And move that. And there's Design Space, okay? So you've gone to the classroom, you've enrolled, you've downloaded the SVG that's in there. The tricky part is remembering where you put it, but you did. And you've brought it into Design Space. So here it is, this is tonight's. So we're gonna click on that. It's a one-page 12 by 12, and you're going to insert the image. Now, when you get it in here, there's a few things that you're going to want to do to make sure that Design Space does exactly what you want. So first things first, you're going to ungroup. You're not going to move anything, but you're just going to ungroup it because it comes in all together. And you're going to look over here in the Layers panel. The only one we really need to change what it is are these lines. And this is something new that I've added. We're going to change that to Score because honestly, getting the story is as important as the photos. I know my photos are the number one thing, and they are. But if you don't tell us a little bit about it, years from now, when someone looks at your gorgeous layout, they're going to wonder, well, who was that? So just tell them. All right, so now we've ungrouped. We've changed that to Score. I'm going to select that layer and that layer. That's the easiest way to do it. How did I do that? I'm going to hold down the Shift key and I'm going to select this layer and this layer, and I'm going to come down here to the bottom and say Attach. Now I can slide it over. What that does is it tells Cricut that you're going to score on this little piece of paper, not just randomly out in the sky. The rest of it is good because I'm going to cut these out and I'm going to cut everything else out. So I'm going to tell Cricut, go ahead and make it. And you'll see that she sends it right over to the screen. This is the actual simple. You can see these are where your photos are going to go. This is your embellishment. This is where your journaling goes, and there's your title. And it's all spread out, so it's super easy. All right? The next layer, this is the one where it's going to score and cut. Score is going to draw us little lines. I'll show you what it did in a minute. And then there's our title and our embellishment. Okay? All right. So after you do all that, you're going to have this. Now, this came out with a couple of other pieces that I didn't want. I liked the idea of just the outline. So that's going to be, remember I told you, whoops, this is the simple, right? Okay, so there's our camera. This little piece is going to go in the center, and I'm going to glue that down. And then here's my title. Whoops. Say cheese, okay? All right, now you've noticed I've got this kind of on a busy background paper. You're also going to notice that if you read what I put in the classroom for you, let me go back and I can show it to you. I've got a 2-page little handout in there for you, and it says it is all about the photos, but it's kind of about the paper. Kathy, why did I change my lines to score? Because if I'd left them at cut, it would have cut this into shreds. If I change it to score, and you look at this really close, it's kind of hard to see. See those lines? Now I have lines to write my journaling on. And that tells you how to write nice, neat, and straight. I'm trying to get it so that you can see it. See the lines? They're really faint. Because I didn't want it to be, you could have made them, you could have drawn them if you wanted to, but then it would have looked like lined paper, and I didn't want that. So I wanted to score on them so I'd have lines to write on, but nobody would notice it but me. Okay? Great question. All right, back to the handout. It is all about the pictures, but you've got to figure out the paper, because the paper is the background to what you're doing. So for example, if you have this gorgeous new necklace that you want to wear, if you put it on top of a purple, pink, and green paisley t-shirt with big words on it, no one is going to notice the necklace. They are just going to be talking about that shirt. So same kind of thing with your layout. You want to choose, they can have patterns, but you want to go with subtle and simple. This is really more than I would want. It's a bit much. Okay? But if I really like the flamingos and I really wanted them because let's say I had some zoo photos and the flamingos really went, I could do this with a little bit of extra help. Now, maybe you are someone, Marian, maybe you're someone that really, really likes the paper and really likes the idea of this paper, but it's a bit much. Well, here's a way that you could do that. You could take loving this paper, but it's still a little much. You could bring in a subtle piece that kind of breaks it up a little bit, right? This is more of a subtle background without any kind of anything, but you'll notice that simples are your best friend because they really can be a game changer. Let me show you what I mean. So let's say that's I lost my pictures. So here's my picture that I'm going to use on this paper. I really like it. So I'm going to pop that on. Hold on, let me move this out of the way. So let's say I do it without the simple, right? And I just took this hot off the printer. Yeah, Wanda, I did use the score tool. I'll go back and do that if there's more questions in the end. So there's the picture, just the way it is. Okay? All right, yeah, that's fine. But it's like bright and kind of a bunch of stuff, and I don't really know. If I bring a simple in, look what I can do to change it up. So I bring this in, and I have two choices on this one. I have the 3.5 or the 4x4 are my two options for this particular simple. So I'm going to see, what do I get with a 3.5? I almost get enough. I get both my husband and I and Lucy and most of the car. If I go with a 4x4, I can get all of the car, but I really don't need it. And it's kind of a cool photo. So I think I'm going to go with this. And watch what the simple does by doing this little trick. So remember what it looked like before, kind of busy, kind of, your eye didn't really know where to look. What the simple does is it tells your eye where to look. I generally use Whisper White or Very Vanilla for two reasons. One, I love the way the white highlights and frames my photos. And two, now that photo jumps off the page instead of getting lost in all of the stuff. It's the same photo, same paper, same everything. But it now is in the center of the page, which is cool, but it also stops it. The photo stops because it has a frame, as opposed to wandering off into this color. The color stays over here and it looks great. I can even get away with these really bright colors, these really busy papers, because I have the frame. This is not my favorite page, and I feel like there's almost way too much going on here, but I can live with it. And it, you know, it was a 2-year-old's birthday party, so it kind of gives you the feel of what it was like. This one, really busy. Not sure that that would work for me. Let me show you a couple more options here. What if you love, love, love paper, but you know it's just too much? Use part of it. Just use a strip of it. This is just a plain background. Used a strip. Make sure that you've got your frames going. Again, this is busy paper, but this side's busier. You will notice that Stampin' Up, when they do their designer series papers, they're kind of crazy on one side, but not on the other. So let's go to, this is that Tropical Escape paper, which I really, really like. Again, kind of a bit much. Flamingos on the other side. This one would really detract from any photo I was going to use. It's cool, but it really would do a lot for me. It would really be hard to kind of follow. But this side might be cool with a strip of this one, right? So you're going to go with a really subtle. I like a solid. This one has a title on it, so ignore that there's something on it. A stripe works pretty well. Your subtles, like that, not much to it, but it has dimension. Let me zoom in so you can see it. Right? So it's got a little something. It's not just a piece of cardstock, but it's not going to take away from my photos. This is, and most of these papers are still available, although they're going quickly. So I'm trying to find the layout I did today, which I just posted pictures of it. Oh, no, do I have it? I do. This is using that paper. And this was a request from Kathy for a Home Sweet Home simple. And this one, again, has kind of a subtle background that isn't going to scream and take things away from you, but yet you've got some pretty bold colors in the other part, this is a new one that just got added. This is one of the papers I've been going with a lot. And now you're probably thinking, all right, lady, it's all Stampin' Up. Really? Everything? I'll tell you why. I picked Stampin' Up, one, because I love it, and that's why I joined the company. But the reason I joined the company is I hate trying to match. What pink do I want? What red do I want? It has to match or I can't sleep. But I don't like trying to figure it out. Is that really real red or is that lovely lipstick? Which one is it? So Stampin' Up makes it super simple for me. First of all, I go with a Whisper White or Very Vanilla when I cut my simple, so I don't need to worry about that. But what am I going to do for this? Well, I'm going to look back on the paper and see that this goes with Bermuda Bay, Calypso Coral, Crumb Cake, Daffodil Delight, Old Olive, Petal Pink, so I know which pink it is. And then I can make everything match. And if you're really super crazy matchy, you can even match your pens, right? Yeah, I only use, when I'm going to scrapbook, honestly, I took all my other stuff and I put it in a box and I let the kids use it. I use it if it doesn't have to go together. I use it for signs. I use it to wrap presents in. I use it for cutouts. But if I'm going to do a scrapbook layout, it is going to be Stampin' Up. And I stick with a designer series paper and then I know what matches. Because truthfully, if it's off a little, I am going to be up all night worrying about it. So here's another designer series paper. And when you first look at this, honestly, it's bright and brilliant. I am not a bright, brilliant person usually. I like the subtles better, as you can tell. But this is pretty cool stuff. And if you look at the back, this is what Stampin' Up! Does for us. It gives us these crazy designs on the front, right? Whew! But it gives you an overall, even this bright one is really not on the back. The colors are bright, but the pattern's not obnoxious and not distracting. You could use this with a simple. So let's take, I only have one simple that's cut that isn't glued down, I think. So let's take this one. I'm going to leave this camera pieces over here because I don't need that. And these. I should have glued these down before you came. I was gonna, and I didn't. Okay, so we've got this one. Let's look at this on different papers and see how it looks, okay? So here's how that would look on that paper. Now, if you're someone who likes bright colors, that would look super cool. You'll also notice in the store, if you look at some of the newer simples, they're coming up with more and more layers. I've started to add a little bit to it because I like to be able to add other papers to what we're doing. So I might go in the same designer series paper and grab out 2 or 3 different coordinating papers, but not so matchy-matchy. I don't know where I put that other one. There's one that I just did the other day. It should have been in this pile, but I don't think it is. Ooh, maybe it's right here. Hold on. Is it? Yeah, this one. So see, that's got 3 different kinds of designer series paper with it. The camera is in tonight's free simple. So it's in the classroom. So this has 3 different kinds of paper, but all from the same Bird Ballad suite. So it all goes together. Even this green is from it. Right? That would be a little crazy, but I can get away with this. Now the other trick is if you've got something that's a little busy and you're thinking, oh, I really, really like that paper. I really want it. but my photo just looks really a bit much. Let me go back to this so that you can see. This goes here. And this is set so that you're going to have a little bit of a border right here. When you come on Thursday, I have some tricks that are going to go with that. So we've got that, right? And that same photo that we liked, where did it go? Of us in the car is in black and white. Because remember, we can print in black and white. So let's see how this looks. Again, busy page, but I could get away with it if I printed the photo in black and white. Now, the photo's still important, but so is the design. So I tend to start with my simple and my paper that I love. I have an idea of my photos, but I may not print them. I may, like I have this picture of the girls and I that I really, really like, and I haven't figured out where it's going to go yet. It's actually on my phone because I like it there. But I need to find a home for this. I need to find a layout that this is going to work on. And because this pink is so over the top, I don't think so, Kathy. I think it's you, hon. And the blue is so vibrant. I might need to go black and white with this to get the look that I want and not be saying, whoa, she's got a hot pink shirt on, right? But I could also go with a really simple background, which I don't have out here right now, like this one. And this one, I wanted the photo to come out, and we are in such dark clothes. Now, traditional scrapbooking that we used to do would say to try and match it. So you would put this on a blue background, like so, right? But it doesn't give, for me, that doesn't make it feel the way it does. This was really light and springy, and just because we thought it was cold and my husband and I dressed in dark doesn't mean that I want the page to go dark. So again, I'm going with Bird Ballad. I say that all the time, Bird Ballad a lot, but I really like these colors for spring. So let's go back to try and put our page together, which I've put on the floor. And my plan was to use this one. Oh, there's my picture. You try to match it to the pictures. I feel like that is almost really complicated because the printer's going to change the way your photos are printed. Depending on who does your photo processing, your photos are going to come out in different shades all the time. If you do them always at home, then they might be similar. But if you're sending them out and you do them at Walmart one time and you do them at CVS another, or you do them at Shutterfly, they're going to have different tones. Use different cameras, you're going to get different tones. And you'll make yourself crazy. So instead of worrying about matchy to the photo, try and get photos that kind of go in the same, because you're probably going to be scrapbooking the same event or time, hopefully. So here is the black and white one. Now I've lost the simple from today. I have too many piles of simples here. Hold on, we'll find it. It didn't go far. I know it didn't. Maybe it did. See? Big pile. Hold on. So I suggest you start with subtles. So open up the paper pack and look on the back and pick out the ones that look, start with the easy ones. Start with the easy ones first. And I love, love, love these two. Love them. I haven't figured out what's going to go on them yet. You'll also notice that those are earlier simples that I have started changing them up so that we don't use as much paper. And the simples of today will cut this out and leave a frame. Now this particular one, I had to use the sailing paper because we were sailing away, but it really was kind of busy for me. And I actually did it in class with you. So when I do things in class, sometimes I'm not as thrilled with them as I would have been because I do it in a rush. I seriously have lost the simple. It's gone. It's gone forever. No, it isn't. I'm just going to take a minute and keep looking. It's not here. There she, yeah. Phew. So let's go back to this. All right, so the question about, do you use the score? Why do I score? Because I want to write a story about saying cheese. Now, the girls who are my usual models are really funny about saying cheese. Robbie and Bo never says cheese. He thinks it's really silly and girls are dumb. But Robbie does. Robbie will do it. So I want to write what I just told you. That's what's going to go on here. So if you, I wish I could show you this. You can't see it. Can you feel it? Let me zoom you in. When you use your score tool, it will give you little lines to write on. Oh, I can probably show, no I can't. I guess I'll just write. So when you write, because I get frustrated trying to write nice and straight. And I tend to start out straight. As you can tell, I have it crooked because that's how I write. And it's going to end up going up as I continue on my little journal. So you'll feel the line as you go. You could do it, you could draw it. One of the first words they learn is cheese. And then when I'm going to put this down, I don't want it just plain white on white, right? Do you write? Right? I can't either. So that's why I've come up with these score lines that say, now you can journal in nice straight lines, plenty of room to write all the details. And they're not enormously huge, but they're big enough to do it. But you're going to look at this and think, yeah, that looks kind of, just doesn't have much at all. So that's where we're going to bring in this. Now I know that Calypso Coral is the color that works with this paper. So I'm going to grab my Calypso Coral ink pad. And I'm going to grab myself my dauber. And my silicone craft mat. And I'm going to add a little bit of ink to the edge. Now I asked one of my inky experts, Mary Lou, Debbie's my other one, do you use a sponge or do you use the dauber? Now I use the dauber because I don't like to get messy, right? But a sponge does work pretty cool too, and you can just get a lighter flick on the edges. I'm sure there's a more technical term for that. And Mary Lou said she uses both depending on the size and the intricacy. It's like, oh crap, I'm in real trouble now. So there's one idea, right? Let me grab a sponge. Remember, these come in packs of 3. And I cut them so I can get more use out of them. Denise, you use the daubers? Yeah, I don't like to get messy. And I'm going to take this, and so you can kind of pinch this. And this is what I call flicking. I don't know what its real name is. But I just want to show you what difference, how much that can add to what you're doing. Right? It adds such dimension to what you're putting down. So even if you are a simple person, you're a simple stamper, simple scrapper, a simple user, use the simples, but you want a little something, this and a dimensional changes the whole look. So again, if you have a bunch of Stampin' Up laying around from your card making, you can use all of it. I could have stamped on this. I have another stamping trick to show you on Thursday too. And then we're going to put this down. And you can see that it just looks so much more elegant. Even though it's in my handwriting, it's not fancy schmancy, and I actually wrote it. Okay? All right, so what do you do when you're going to choose background paper? Simple is better, less bold is better, but if you just love that bold paper, you really, really, really like it, and you want to somehow find a way to use it. So let's take this one, and you're thinking, I need that. I just love it. Okay, clearly this isn't going to be the right color, but if you took a simple like this one, right? You're still getting the color, but it's not going to be so bold. I don't know why I would use this picture, but it's a horizontal picture, so let me grab it. I'm going to tuck this under. It's a Christmas one, which is really insane, but even that picture, that really you wouldn't necessarily choose this paper, but it does make that photo just pop out. And you can still have that kind of gorgeous paper that you want by tucking it underneath. And now if you're thinking, I love that, but that's all I want. I don't know why you would seriously want the Grinch in the middle of this one, but just humor me. You can then take other papers from this designer series paper. Remember, this comes with a lot of options. You could take one of these, and instead of using your photos in there, because remember, it's going to fit one of these. It's going to fit this 3.5 by 3.5. All right, so I could use this, or, because I just measured it and I know, I could grab my trimmer, and I could say, okay, 3.5 by 3.5 fits. So I'm going to go 3.5. By 3.5. Whoops. And I'm going to pop that in here. And then maybe I'm going to use a stamp that I like that could go in here. Okay? All right, so let's get brave. I want to see you take some paper that you might not necessarily use all the time, or pictures that you've been struggling with. This is going to be mine. I'm going to do this one. And on Thursday, post them on any of my pages. And you can tell they all have, you can tell they're mine. There's Cricut Simple, there's Let's, the Simple Memory Keeping, there's Simple Stamping, there's my VIP group. Post them and let's use the hashtag paper. And I will pick a lucky winner for, I will pick 2 winners on Thursday. So you have between now and Thursday to post some layouts. Yes, it has to be Stampin' Up! Paper. Sorry, it does. I know you have a whole collection of others. But hey, I am a Stampin' Up! Person. Okay? And I know you have a lot of it too. You can even have, what if you have a 6x6 piece of designer series paper? What if you have one of the ones that I've been using a gazillion times, the best dressed one? Or one of the other, the 6x6s, or something you've cut down. You can use that. Use 2 pieces of cardstock and add that, like we just did this. Add that in one of the simples. Use the free one if you want. You're welcome to use the camera one. There's a couple of free ones in the classroom. Remember, you get to the classroom by clicking on karamiller.com and go to the classroom. Then when you get to the classroom, you want to make sure you enroll in 2020 live classes if you're not already there. If you're already there, you're just going to scroll down to this one. Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. So this is the free classroom, right? We're in here, and you'll see April, choosing paper, and say cheese. That's the one for tonight, and you click on that. And that's the SVG right there that I shared with you. Okay? And it's free. So help yourself, and let's see what we get by Thursday. It'll be fun. It'll give us all some ideas. All right? Okay. Have a great week. I'll see you soon. Bye.